Hello everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News of the Berkshires and beyond. It's almost August, and August is known by many as the dog days because of the rising heat and seeming lack of things to do. However, if you look hard enough, you can always find something of interest in Berkshire County. On this episode, I'll be discussing several local theater productions and concerts going on in Berkshire County. Plus, I'll be going to North Adams to discuss their annual downtown party, reviewing the film Drop, and discussing two more Basketball Hall of Famers. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, which famed coach did 2025 Hall of Famer Billy Donovan play for in college? Now, for this episode's local headlines. First, we'll be visiting Pittsfield for an annual concert series, Live at the Lake. Radio station Live 95.9 and the Greylock Federal Credit Union are celebrating 23 years of great live music with Live on the Lake, a free community concert series for the whole family. Wednesday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. on the shores of the beautiful Onoda Lake in Pittsfield. It's another summer of free music with something for everyone. The concert series started earlier in July. Here is a list of who is still to perform on the Wednesdays. On July 24th, it will be Hornsby Funk & Co. On July 31st will be Generation X Rock. Then on August 7th will be Legal Tender. On August 14th will be the band Shine. And on August 21st, closing out the 2025 summer schedule, will be the Liquid Courage. As stated, Live at the Lake takes place on Onoda Lake every Wednesday, beginning at 6 and lasting until 8. Please make sure to pack sunscreen, bug spray, and water. You can either drive to Onoda Lake or take a shuttle, which this year is provided by Wingate residents at Melbourne Place. The shuttle runs from the Taconic High School parking lot, located at 96 Valentine Road, beginning at 5:30. For more information, visit live959.com. Up next, we'll be visiting the Williamstown Theater Festival for a show called Camino Real. Dustin Willis brings what New York Magazine calls his mad scientist zeal back to Williamstown to reimagine this sprawling Tennessee Williams epic written in the lead-up to the McCarthy trials. Camino Real, Williams said, is, quote, a play that is less written than painted. Play that is painted? Why not? At least I could try. I did, and here it is, end quote. The Camino Real is a dead end, a police state in an imagined Latin Mediterranean American country in an inescapable condition. Characters from history and literature, such as Don Quixote, Casanova, and Camille, inhabit this plaza where corruption and alienation have nearly destroyed the human spirit. Enter Kilroy, a prize-winning boxer and All-American fellow with, as the play describes, a heart as big as the head of a baby. This play was previously performed in Williamstown in 1999. The show will be going on until August 3rd. For more information, visit the website shown here. Speaking of Williamstown, up next, we will be visiting the Clark Art Institute for a new exhibit called Bernice Abbott, Modern Lens. 100 years ago, Bernice Abbott took her first photograph. She was a young American in Paris, working as an assistant to noted photographer Man Ray. Little did Man Ray know, his assistant would soon become one of his greatest rivals, and ultimately, one of the greatest photographers of the 20th century. Abbott moved to Greenwich Village, New York City, in 1918 and fell in with a crowd of artists and writers who urged her to nurture her creative spirit by relocating yet again in 1921, this time to Paris. After she established her own independent photography business, Abbott once again felt the call of NYC and returned to the U.S. in 1929. She made capturing the evolving urban landscape her project, culminating in her most well-known work, Changing New York, published in 1939. Less well-known, but no less remarkable, are her photos of the broader American Northeast. Bernice Abbott's Modern Lens is organized by the Clark Art Institute and curated by Grace Hanselman, curatorial assistant for Works on Paper. This exhibit is open from now until October. Visit clarkart.edu for more information. For our next story, we will be visiting Berkshire Theater Group for the show Dying is No Excuse. The legendary Renee Taylor takes the stage in the world premiere of Dying is No Excuse, a hilarious and heartfelt new play directed by the incomparable Elaine May, herself a Tony Award-winning legend. Best known for her quick wit and larger-than-life presence, Renee Taylor, an Academy Award-nominated and Emmy-winning actress, writer, and comedian, brings her signature humor to this deeply personal journey through love, marriage, and loss. This isn't just Taylor's story. It's the story of her extraordinary partnership with her late husband, the brilliant actor and writer Joe Bologna. With warmth, wit, and unflinching honesty, Taylor reminisces about their whirlwind romance. From their first meeting to their unconventional live TV wedding on the Merv Griffin Show just 3.5 months later. She recalls the joy and challenges of their early years, navigating their careers, collaborating on plays and films, and embracing parenthood, all while keeping their bond filled with laughter. From their struggles with Hollywood to the heartache of his final days battling cancer, Taylor paints a portrait of a marriage built on love, humor, and an unbreakable friendship. The show will be taking place from August 7th through the 30th. Visit BerkshirTheaterGroup.org for more information. For our next 2 stories, we'll be going to visit North Adams for 2 separate events. The first is the popular Downtown North Adams Party. Groups, businesses, and organizations will be distributing information, holding contests and giveaways, while bands play everything from Dixieland to rock and roll. The streets are filled with delicious aromas as local restaurants and vendors provide all kinds of wonderful food. This event is fun for all ages. Main Street, Eagle Street, and Holden Street will close by 2 p.m. and reopen at 9 p.m. or after vendors clear out. The heart of downtown will be closed to all but pedestrian traffic. While exact information on performers and vendors isn't known yet, regardless of who performs, it's sure to be a good time. This will be taking place on Wednesday, August 13th. It will be held from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Visit the City of North Adams' website, shown here, for more information. For our other North Adams related stop, we'll be visiting Mass-MoCA for an event. Usually, Mass-MoCA events on WWHEN discuss things like art shows or concerts. However, for this episode, there is a unique event that doesn't relate to those 2 things. Skate Haven. Skate Haven will transform Mass-MoCA's Courtyard D into a pop-up skate park for a skate jam featuring clinics, a best trick contest, and product giveaways. The space will be filled with obstacles built by Mass Mocha's fabrication team and by skate parks, arts, and advocacy program participants. No matter their skill level, or whether participants are either local to the Berkshires or visiting from out of town, the afternoon promises something for everyone. Skate Haven invites all skaters in the Northern Berkshires to Mass Mocha for a day of shredding and sharing. No previous skateboard experience is needed, and beginner participation is encouraged. Skate Haven's clinics will review skateboard fundamentals in a simple, straightforward way that provides new insights to skaters of all levels. Skate Haven will take place on August 17th. It takes place in Mass Mocha's Courtyard D, beginning at 3 p.m. Admission to Skate Haven is free with your visit to Mass Mocha. Visit massmocha.org for more information. For our next story, we will be visiting the Stationery Factory in Dalton for 2 shows. The first is Wildheart, a Fleetwood Mac tribute band. Wildheart began its work developing a tribute initially to the solo career of Stevie Nicks. 1 year later, the tribute added the fine works of the rest of the Fleetwood Mac, along with the backstories, the emotional moments, and all that made Fleetwood Mac who they were and who they would become to music appreciators all over the world. As one of the most popular Stevie Nicks or Fleetwood Mac tribute shows in the nation, Wildheart Tribute provides a dramatic and theatrical experience. The authentic music, along with an intimate portrait of each fronting band member, whose finest works together actually came to be, while simultaneously losing their connections with one another. This will be happening on August 2nd. Our other show happening is Peter Antonio. From amazing the judges on America's Got Talent, to headlining in Las Vegas, to selling out shows in London's West End, Peter Antonio's mind-reading skills have astounded audiences around the globe. Combining razor-sharp British wit with the stunning ability to know exactly what you are thinking, Peter's shows are interactive and unforgettable. Join him as he reads minds and tickles funny bones, telling jokes and fortunes live on stage. This will be happening on August 10th. For more information, visit the website shown here. It's now time for this episode's movie portion of WWHEN. This episode, we'll be reviewing the 2025 release, Drop. This movie tells the story of Violet, a widowed mother who has worked up the courage to go on her first date in years with a charming photographer named Henry. The two hit it off, but the date is ruined by a series of anonymous drops or texts to Violet's phone, showing a masked intruder entering her home and ordering her to follow a series of instructions, or else her loved ones will die. So, what did I think about this film? In previous WWHN episodes, I've discussed how films released this year haven't been impressing me for the most part. Drop was a nice surprise, however. The movie has really good pacing and moves fast. This allows for some great set pieces and also tension, something director Christopher Landon does well. I also loved the lead character of Violet. Actress Megan Fahey does a great job portraying her initial weakness and slowly growing stronger. I think one of the main reasons I enjoyed this movie is because my expectations were low. Drop gave me hope for Hollywood. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give Drop an 8.5. The Basketball Hall of Fame biographies are rolling on. For this episode's bios, we'll be focusing on two individuals who may not be as well known as some in the other class, but are both worthy of induction to Springfield. They are Danny Crawford and Billy Donovan. Out of all the 2025 inductees, Danny Crawford is probably the least known member. That is because Crawford is neither a player, coach, or owner. Rather, he is a referee. Referees do not get a lot of respect in general, and the Hall of Fame as well. Crawford is only the 18th referee to be inducted. However, just because Crawford is a ref doesn't mean his story isn't fascinating. Crawford started his basketball journey playing for Krieger High School in Chicago, before moving on to play at Northeastern Illinois University. Unfortunately, no photos of his early days in either high school or college could be found. He majored in physical education, with hopes of becoming a gym teacher. Officiating was something he did on the side for recreational games and intramurals at various places in Chicago to make a little extra cash while he was a student teacher. However, Crawford realized he enjoyed being a referee and was good at it. Slowly, he moved out of the ranks of recreational games to high school, college, and then, in 1985, he was hired by the NBA. He would stay in the NBA for 32 years. He worked more than 2,000 regular season games, more than 300 NBA playoff games, and in 23 consecutive finals, and was always respected by both coaches and players. In 2016, he was named the most respected referee in an NBA Players Survey. Crawford retired in 2017. Our other Hall of Famer, Billy Donovan, is more known to basketball fans. Donovan is a head coach who has won at both college and pros. After a successful college playing career at Providence University in Rhode Island, and a short career playing in the NBA, Donovan was working at a Wall Street banking investment firm, but missed basketball tremendously. In 1989, just 2 years after his graduation from Providence University, he was hired by the University of Kentucky as an assistant head coach. And 5 years later, earned his first coaching gig at Marshall University in West Virginia. He only coached 2 seasons there, and the results didn't indicate anything worthy of the Hall of Fame. In just those 2 seasons, Donovan had 35 wins. However, in 1996, Donovan was hired by the University of Florida Gators to be their head coach, and his career trajectory changed. Before his arrival, the Gators had been more famous as a football team, but Donovan would change all of that. Under his watch, the Gators won 2 national championships in 2006 and 2007, making the Gators one of the rare teams to repeat in the 21st century. Today in college, players move around a lot, but the Gators were able to maintain their entire starting lineup for both years. In addition, the Gators were runner-up in 2000 and made an additional Final Four in 2014. Donovan remained with the Gators until 2015. There, he was hired by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and in his first season, led them to a spot in the conference finals. Today, he is the coach of the Chicago Bulls, as active coaches can still be eligible for the Hall of Fame, provided they have coached for at least 25 seasons. Several coaches have won additional championships after being inducted into the Hall. Could Donovan be the next one? Stay tuned. Billy Donovan also supplies the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, which famed coach did 2025 Hall of Famer Billy Donovan play for in college? The answer is Rick Pitino. Donovan flourished in Pitino's offensive system. During his senior year, he averaged over 20 points and 7 assists per game and led the 6-seeded Providence Friars to the 1987 Final Four, while earning Southeast Regional Most Valuable Player honors. After his NBA career fell through, Donovan called Pitino up and expressed his interest in coaching. Pitino invited Donovan to become an assistant head coach at Kentucky, and his Hall of Fame career was born. That ends this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News in the Berkshires and beyond. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit PCTV's website, shown here, or my YouTube page at RT Wehry. And I want to thank CTSB TV and NBCTC for showing my show on their public access station. Thank you.